This episode of the Great Lakes Outdoors podcast is brought to you by
Migrate Ammunition, GK Calls, Gibraltar Boatyard, Point Malay Waterfowl Festival, Gibraltar Duck Hunters Association, Turtle Box. We'd like to give a special thanks to Brian Ellithorpe. Give him a follow on all social media.
We appreciate all the support. Now let's get to the show.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Great Lakes Outdoors podcast. We are happy to have back the host, now the co-host of the Great Lakes Outdoors podcast, Kyle Howard. What's going on, man?
Hola, amigos. That's all I know. That's all I came up with while I was there.
You were there for a week, and that's all you figured out?
That's all I figured out. There was a lot of, that's all I figured out. There was a couple, swear words, I guess, mixed in there, but yeah, that's all I figured out. And adios. But we haven't got to the adios part yet.
You know, I'm still not for this being promoted to host here. I know I only did one podcast on my own now, and now I'm you demoted yourself and then promoted me. So I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, the funny thing is, I was thinking to myself, I should have looked it up on how to say, it's a change of hands, and now you're the host of the podcast. But yeah, I don't know how to say that in Spanish, so I just stuck to hola, amigo.
It just shows how much you care, you know.
Well, I mean, it's been nice, to be honest with you, for the getaway part of everything. Just kind of get away from things, and now the hardest part is just getting back in the groove of everything.
Well, I mean, I called you, I think it was the day after you got back, and you were already out talking to farmers and doing your thing. So, I mean, it didn't seem like it took too long to get back into the groove of things.
Well, that part, yeah, turkey's been on my brain ever since I got into Houston Airport, I think it was. I started asking people, because we're flying back into Orlando Saturday, and we had a 2-hour layover. And I thought to myself, well, if there's turkey property around here and I know somebody, I wonder if I could sneak out of this airport real quick and go out there and get one. Obviously, that's kind of far-fetched, but I was going to go even the day I got back to go start checking fields and getting back in the swing of things, but I decided to relax and give it at least a half day. But yeah, the next day, the first full day I was back, I was back on it. But
so that's why I'm happy you took this trip, because you have been going crazy since, I don't know, end of July with waterfowl. Went right into deer was this year for you now, newer this year for you that you were going crazy with. So having a somewhat forced vacation.
Yeah, you could say for you. Yeah, it was forced. You could say that. You could say forced.
I mean, I got some pictures. You look like you're having a good time down there.
The best part of it was the surfing. I wish I would have found it earlier. Little surfing. The waves fly up, and we're sitting there talking shit to all the little kids that are falling off the boards right away, and we're eating shit right when we get on the boards. It was, I don't know, that part was fun.
Oh my God, it's not gonna show up. I took a screenshot of Kyle doing this little surfing thing. I'm gonna
good
Gemini ChatGPT something crazy on it, and it'll probably be on a story someday.
It was, she said, she's like, I don't know who was screenshotting all my stuff today, but someone was screenshotting everything, and yeah, it was you.
It'll pop up. It'll pop up one day, probably for a birthday, or if you piss me off one day, I might post something.
Well, it'll probably be tomorrow then. It'll be quick. It'll be sooner than later, I'm sure.
Yeah, it might happen tonight, making me the host of this podcast. That might be the nail in the coffin.
That is true. I don't know. It was a good trip. It was just it was so different down there. I don't know. It was good. It was just a different way of life, I guess, that I'm not used to.
Yeah. Because you're on an all-inclusive, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you know how those go. I mean, you're still paying for some things, and then things that you need, since I need, 150 SPF sunscreen, it's like $200 down there. And then we got back in the 40-degree weather when we were flying into Detroit, and I think it was 33. I think it was when we flew back in, or something. I thought to myself, okay, I'm back home. I could bundle up. I put some hoodies on. I don't have to worry anymore right now. I'm good to go. Luckily, I didn't get burnt down there. So that was my biggest fear, was just getting absolutely fried and being miserable at work and, just peeling all over the place and itching. And ever since I got that sun poisoning, I've just been deathly afraid of the sun. I feel like the guy off of bench warmers in the closet. Yeah, beat sunscreen, that's me.
I mean, when I was down there, I was just strictly wearing my PFG long sleeves, like because they were cool, breathable, but I also did not want to get sunburn as well because that just ruins the entire trip when you're just miserable.
Yeah, I mean, we went cliff jumping. It was the only time we left the resort, and I was wearing my PFG like long sleeve hood, like lightweight hoodie kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
The whole time, I didn't take it off. Like swimming down into the caves and stuff, I had that thing on. I didn't care. When you're down there in Mexico, I feel like when you're even in the shadows of like underneath the water in the caves, you're still getting sunburned. Like the sun down there is just not your friend.
Closer to the equator, man.
I didn't realize how far down we were. I mean, we were just north of Honduras, but yeah, we were down there.
What was the city in Mexico that you guys were by?
So we flew into Cancun, and we were an hour south, a little over an hour south of Cancun. So I don't know even what that was. Even if I were to guess it, it probably wouldn't be appropriate for the podcast. So I'll just leave it an hour south of Cancun.
That works for me. We'll keep it PG this podcast for a little bit longer.
Yeah. Subscribe to whatever channel that we have to find the rated R one.
Yeah. Go to our Patreon channel.
Yeah. Or what was it? I think I told somebody I was selling foot pics on OnlyFans down there too. So maybe we'll post it on there because I'm gonna have to make one up or something. I forget how that got brought up down there. I don't know, but it was a good trip.
Knowing you guys were talking something crazy, and then all of a sudden it just gets thrown into a random conversation with a random person, and you make it believable. That's how you are.
So it was a lot of like seniors down there in high school. So like later in the night, everybody that would walk by, I'd like, don't step in that. Watch out for that. And everybody was like stop and I'd look at them like, gotcha. I was like trying to like just dig at everybody that walked by me out there, which isn't probably the right thing to do in a foreign country. Probably wasn't the best, but I got a lot of people. Those
you're probably dealing with mostly Americans, anyways. So
a lot of Americans, but a lot of French Canadians though.
Coming down from Canada.
Yep, back Alberta. Talked to some hunters up that way. Talked to one and I was trying to understand him. I felt bad. But he might even be listening to this now. I was talking to, I think it was his dad or something, and he was talking about moose hunting stuff, showing me pictures and whatnot. Told him to follow us. He was like, oh, I really like you guys' like apparel and stuff like that. So I actually had a hat that I brought down there. So I gave him the hat. But I don't know. It was cool. I found some people that actually turkey hunt some of the same properties that I have permission on. Like they were down there, like tapped me on the shoulder. He's like, you can't kill turkeys down here. I'm trying to relax before all this. Oh yeah, dude. I ran into like 5 people I knew down there. Never even knew they were going down there.
No shit.
Yeah. It was weird. It was cool, but it was weird. I don't want to say weird. Weird sounds bad.
I mean, that's pretty freaking weird. You travel that far away in a foreign country and you run into the same guy from your town.
Yeah. I mean, there was, like I said, like literally 3. There was a guy that I work with who was down there. I don't know. It was strange.
No, that's really strange. So did for these guys up in Canada, you guys exchange numbers, get us on a moose hunt for next season and bring them down for a turkey hunt this spring?
I talked to him about it. The hardest part was, like I said, the language barrier on it all. All I know in French was the oui part of it. If that is even French, I don't know. He added us on social media, but that was about as far as it got.
I think I actually saw, I thought that guy's one pop up because he had a picture of a moose in his profile picture, I think.
Probably. The one that, unless it was one of his friends then, the one that followed us, who was, I don't know, probably like 11:30 at night, and it was like he was wearing a black shirt or something. Okay. I think it was Thursday night. I don't know. Thursday night was a bad night for me. It was a bad night.
Bad night as in a good night?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It was a good night.
Made the next morning a little rough.
No, actually it didn't. It didn't. I didn't feel like there was no hangover or anything. I didn't feel like that at all. Like, that's surprising. Thursday night. After Thursday night, I wasn't feeling pretty rough the next morning, but it was fine. Sid woke me up at like 4:00 every morning. That was great to go swim with the sea turtles. And I was like, I really don't care about these sea turtles right now. And I finally woke up the last day and I went down there and I looked underwater because you could see them above. I mean, the water was pretty clear. And I looked down and I was like, all right, I'll jump down underwater, see if, I'll swim up next to him or whatever. And all of a sudden I see like a bunch of fish around this turtle and this turtle's swimming like right at me. And I was like, yep, all right, I'm out of the water. Like I don't care about these stupid turtles right now. Like, I don't know what other fish are swimming around it. That's the scariest part for me around the ocean. Like, you don't know what's out there. If I can't
There's
see
sharks out there, so that's what scares me
them,
shitless.
oh yeah, and they're swimming next to the turtles. They feed them every day there, so they're out there somewhere.
That's
So,
why, I mean, even the Great Lakes scare me because they're so big and so deep in some areas, you don't know what's actually out there. But the oceans, there's stuff there that can kill you, and I'm not trying to go swim with some turtles and get eaten by a shark or something like that. And that's the way I go.
right. I mean, the Great Lakes, at least, like, there was some times where I've heard stories, even from like close friends of mine, where the girls are wearing jewelry or something, and like giant muskies come swimming up next to them on the beach and stuff, like, in the shallow water too. But it's nothing like the ocean. Like, everything wants to kill you out there. Like, you step on something, you got a pretty good chance of dying from it. So yeah, I stay away. I stayed in the pool by the swim up bar the whole time.
That's exactly where I was. They had spicy margaritas, and I was just guzzling those babies down the entire time.
Yeah, I was on kind of a liquor kick down there. I didn't have no beer.
Didn't try any Tecates?
No, I did, but it just wasn't for me. I stuck to what was it, 7-Up and tequila, and I often was at the ice cream bar a lot. So you would see me.
You were looking a little chubbier in the cheeks,
You were either seeing me with like double fisting some ice cream or single fisting a mixed drink. Yeah, that was me. So all in all, it was a good trip.
Well, happy.
I didn't even tell you this. We get into the Cancun airport to leave. Dude, the lights go out. Like, all the lights in the whole airport are out. So I'm sitting there like, are we going to be stuck in Cancun now? Like, we're going to be stuck here. It's 4 o'clock, or what was it, 5 o'clock in the morning? And all, like, you can't see your hand in front of your face. And I'm like, dude, we're going to, like, this is going to suck. We're not going to get home till, like, way later in the night. Like, I don't know. I'm glad to be home. But I just
what was the issue?
No idea, because it went out twice. And then the water wasn't working in the bathroom. Found that out the hard way, too.
Left the janitor surprised, I'm thinking.
But everybody else did, yeah. I was freaking out. Dude, I had to go, and I went to like 5 different bathrooms. And finally, it was like on the complete other side of the airport I had to run to. I was doing like the penguin waddle all the way over there, and finally found a bathroom that was like clear, and the water somewhat ran over there. But yeah,
I'm surprised you didn't like walk up to a staff person, say like, "Hey, I'm an electrician. Let me see if I can figure this out for you guys."
No, I'm good. I don't tell people that. I don't even tell people that at home, honestly. Oh, we got problems at the house. Yeah, I don't call a company. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, I tried calling you this weekend, and you didn't even answer me. So I was.
We're talking to one landowner.
Yeah, you're talking to the farmer, and you wouldn't even answer me back. So we had to just dummy rig something. Hopefully, it doesn't burn the house down.
Well, that was yesterday, so the house doesn't burn down. So it looks like you're doing all right now.
We haven't ran the fan much, so we'll give it time.
Fans are kind of tricky with the remotes and everything. Like, and they're a pain in the butt to smash up back in there.
So thankfully we were just swapping a fan for a fan, so we weren't doing anything with the switches or anything like that. It was just all the internal stuff up in the ceiling.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the internal, like all the wires, like to push it back up in there, it gets tricky. So
yeah.
Then you got to slide that receiver or whatever inside of there, and then smash a bunch of wires up inside of that. Yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah, this one wasn't too crazy because someone who's probably making millions of dollars now had the idea to make it where they put the mount up there, and then you can lock the mounting in there, so you don't have to hold on to it the entire time. Whoever did that is making millions, because the last time in our old house when we did it, and you had to literally hold the entire fan up, it caused a lot of arguments, and this was seamless compared to what it's been in the past. So thank you to whoever came up with this idea. I wish I would have, because I'm sure.
Well, that'll be good when Connor gets old enough. You just still have him hold it up just to try to get some muscle up on him. Here, hold this up, even though I can have it sitting here and everything would be all right.
Yeah, but I'm happy to have you back in the States and time to get back to work. We got turkey season.
Yeah, I'm happy to be co-host. I'm happy to be co-host. I'm happy to be back on your podcast.
I'm not, because this is your baby. This was the thing that you wanted to do.
Well, we kind of got thrown at us, but
yeah, you got thrown at us, but this was your baby.
That is true.
Now it is, I guess, my baby now too.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah. But like I said, we're 2 weeks away. We're grind time now. I mean, what's going on in your world right now with turkeys? Getting prepped for your hunting. You know, your dad, your sister. You got a lot of people that are going hunting with you this year. What's the prep looking like right now for you?
So a couple of weeks back, I started getting, and it was probably a little bit too late, but some of the property owners we're getting back in contact with. Yeah, I mean, we talked to our property owners quite a bit, but like throughout the whole year. But spent some time with those guys, or have been spending some time with those guys. I had cameras out on some ground, and we actually went yesterday and moved those around because it's. I still don't understand the whole like wintering and fall, like where the birds are at those times, and trying to figure out when is the appropriate time for them to kind of push back through. So we weren't getting the pictures that we were hoping for. And some of the properties didn't get planted this past year, so it was all overgrown. Like those, it's almost like just mini bushes. Like they're real thick trunks on them, but it's just brush. If that makes any
Almost
sense.
like almost some type of autumn olive or something like that.
Yeah,
But
something.
smaller. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and they're probably chest height, if not taller, on some of them.
Oh wow.
And so I was getting a little nervous about it. One of the properties, the guy that deer hunts it, he actually went there and brush hogged a bunch of pass into it. So moved the cameras yesterday and finally had birds showing up today. One of the other cameras, I wasn't getting any pictures on it, and moved that around yesterday as well. And I don't know what was going on with the camera because there was tracks all over the field. I don't know if the birds were too far away. But when we went to go move it, there was, I don't know, there was probably easily over 10 times sitting in the middle of this field. I just wasn't getting any pictures of it. So I mean, they're starting to slowly trickle back in, obviously. Then the last place we have the camera at, I was messing around with my new calls from GK, obviously, and thought I heard a gobble off in the distance and didn't think too much about it. Kept on messing with the calls, changed the camera. I was walking back up, and it was a little bit closer. So I literally ran down this 2-track and jumped up into one of his tree stands, and had this Jake walk, 40 yards into the woods past me. Never knew I was there. And I got down, I jumped in a bush, and I called again, and now there was 2 of them. And they would literally walk like 10 yards in front of me. Had no idea I was there somehow, some way. It's almost like, just like deer hunting, it's almost like they know that there's not a season going on. So they walked by. I called again after I knew that they were past, like, a while down the 2-track. And there was like 3 or 4 that were firing up. Seen them roost up there, so I kind of got some intel on that. Went back the next day, I think it was, or 2 days later, and had another 4 of them going off on the different side of the property. I mean, so they're getting more active, I guess. They're starting to break up around us, but just getting, I don't know, eyes on the fields, eyes on birds, I guess is our goal or our main objective right now. Just getting as much research, I guess you want to say, about the properties. Because for me, like, even when I'm scouting, if I'm seeing like a lot of jakes out in these fields right now, it kind of tells me what to even run, if I'm throwing decoys out there, if I'm not, or just how to hunt them, I guess. And I don't think a lot of people put that much effort into like their scout. I think they just see birds out there. Just same with waterfowl. Like, they see birds out there, no birds are around, and that's it. Example, the one field I had like 6 jakes out there. So I know if I throw a jake decoy out there, it probably won't be the same reaction for those toms. Because them jakes, that many jakes out there, they're probably chasing them toms around a little bit, unless there's a handful.
So I heard you talk about earlier, talking with farmers, how that relationship doesn't kind of end once the season ends.
Mm-hmm.
Ben, on the last episode, talked about kind of what he does for his property as has permission for. What do you do to keep that relationship up with some of your farmers?
Me personally, it's communication. I mean, trying to relate to them in certain instances, like whether it be family or I like bringing the dogs around the farmers, either at the farm or we got to a point where with some of our landowners where they like the dogs stopping by at their house and playing and whatever. it's more than just a high and buy. Can I hunt this? All right, I'm not going to talk to you until next year now. I text them on the holidays and Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, whatever it may be. But if you're able to do that and make a connection with some of these landowners, it's better off than obviously the one time a year where they don't even know you, don't know much about you besides that you come up every year and that's it. So a lot of these guys that complain that even though they have permission, these farmers or landowners, let other people hunt it too, which there's some properties that it just is what it is. And some people do hunt it, but like other people hunt it, I should say, but it's, you're making the connection where you're set in stone. You're making a mark to these farmers that, they already have people there. So they're not letting more people on there for a majority of the landowners was. So just trying to make, connection with them. And, we give them Christmas gifts, we give them fish, and it's not even just them, it's the whole family, their wives or their kids or whatever. Be talking, about their kids or their grandkids or just whatever to kind of get you more involved with them, to make them know you're not there just to use them for their land and that's it, I guess.
You're making it more personable, right? Like like you said, you're not making it just for the hunting, right? You're not making it just transactional. You're making it personal,
right?
So they make you feel part of the family in a sense, right?
Yeah, I mean, the other day we went over. I think it was actually when you called. The guy just got home and walked into his house and drank a beer with him and just sat there for 45 minutes just bullshitting with him, And there's some times where it's like, man, I really don't want to be sitting here, or you got to play like the nice guy or whatever it may be. But in the long run, if you want to be out there, that's what you're gonna have to do. I mean, hearing some of these stories that how many people actually ask, or people offering money up for some of the ground and they still turn it down. It's all because you take the time, to communicate with them, to actually hear them. And a lot of these guys, that it seems like farmers don't talk obviously to a lot of people. They're kind of just to themselves a lot. They I don't know, don't express a lot of things to a lot of people. So once you kind of crack that eggshell of them, it makes it that much easier. And I've always said it on here too, where one landowner can lead to 10 others too. So I mean, I just found out when you called, John, our buddy, hunts on some ground that the farmer is like best friends with, and never even knew he had like property out that way.
Oh, no.
I didn't know just because I don't like travel that route at all, but like, it's just kind of that small of a world, I guess. And people don't understand how far certain things can get you, or how much more ground or whatever. If there's one tom or, a big feed of geese out there, whatever it may be, I'd rather already have that field than not. Even if you hunt that property just once a year, to me, it's still important to talk to those guys.
Yeah. I mean, and I think it's really cool too, because some of the stories you hear from some of these old timers, they're like, they make you just realize things you never realized before, right? Like some of those guys, like they just love talking, and they'll talk about some things and you'll learn things. You're like, holy crap, I never thought about it that way. You learn different perspectives, and you might take a little nugget you might take back into your personal life that you never knew you actually needed to know.
But I mean, even if you break it down, like when we first got our deer property, we always thought there was just the one way to go into it. Until he told us, like, hey, why don't you park on this road over here and walk in that way? Like, it's a lot shorter of a walk and a lot easier. Well, if he never would have told us that, like, for example, my dad would have never even had a chance at that buck that this past year.
Yeah.
Because he would have walked right past it if we would have kept on just doing our own thing and not talking to him and communicating with him, So it's even those things. They're out there constantly. They're always seeing what's moving, or where the turkeys are at, where the deer are at, or what they're doing when they're doing it. And granted, a lot of them don't really pay attention because they're so like used to it all. They don't really look too far into it, especially if they're not chasing them, obviously. But they still have a good means of different ways to do things, or better ways to do things to make it your life easier in the long run.
I mean, in reality too, those farmers, those landowners are the experts on that property, right?
For sure.
So
For
even
sure.
if they're not chasing those animals, if they're out for their walk, they might realize that they see deer over in this area, on their walks. So they see a turkey over here in the morning coming through their yard. Like, so those little nugget, like little things that, because they're on that property, 24/7 in a sense, like they know where some of these animals might be at, that where you scouting a couple hours a day or, handful of days a week might not catch.
Right. And I talk to them a lot about, hey, if you see any birds anywhere, just, keep me in mind or let me know what's going on, or, just so I have an idea what's out there. Cause obviously, I try to be out there as much as I can, but I can't be. And actually it might've been the first birds that we actually shot out that way. The one landowner was like, I've been seeing a bunch of birds over there on the corner. Well, went knocked on the door, and sure enough, I think it was the second, or no, it was the first night we hunted that. The morning we only seen one hen, but that night me and my dad ended up doubling up on 2 toms. So even just that small of communication, and then after the hunting season or after the hunt, if you shoot a bird per se, or shoot some geese or some ducks, showing the appreciation to those people back too, I think that goes a long way as well.
So for you, for this season, what you have a ton of people usually that come out and hunt with you, whether you're behind the gun or they're just out there with you. Who are you most excited for this year to either get out for the first time or just to get back out in the turkey woods this year?
That's a tough one, because there's some people that we've been talking to about coming out. I just, with the schedules and what they do, it might be hard to get them even up here. I don't know if you want me to say those names or anything, but those guys I'd be excited for. Just, I'm excited always to get people out of the state, new experience. Like last year, my sister obviously and Brian, that was super exciting. With Sid and I getting a bird this past year, I'm excited to try to put a bird early. It's hard to say though. Honestly, every year is different. Every year is different experiences, and every hunt, I look forward to. So it's hard to kind of just pinpoint one person. But I don't know. I would say the people that are kind of on the fence, or not on the fence, but seeing if they can make the trip up. Those are the ones that I'd probably be the most excited about if they were able to come up and actually hunt.
No, yeah, that'd be huge if they were able to make their schedules work and be able to come out and get some content with them. That'd be cool.
It's one thing too, where next year I really want to start planning and starting to put some money away for these out of state hunts, and kind of just see, whether it be on private or public land in these other states, see just different ways of people hunting or different areas. They come up here, and some of our properties are right outside of downtown areas. That's probably kind of a weird thing for people to see. So, seeing the reactions of people's faces when they come up and hunt like that, that's always, I don't know, fun to me. Just, I don't know, gives somebody a different look on things, I guess.
Yeah. I think, when you're watching those hunting videos, those guys hunting down in Florida, I think it's super cool. Just the different terrain they're hunting with down there, and having to just, it's a different element, right? Because there's, how it is with the Great Lakes and the ocean, right? There's things up there that could kill you just as well hunting turkeys, I think there was one video of a guy had a panther come in on him when he was turkey hunting, just stuff like that, where we have similar experiences with turkeys. With coyotes and turkeys, but having something like a panther or a mountain lion or something come in when you're turkey hunting, I think that'd be insane.
And that's probably second nature to them. Just like for us, it's second nature to see a coyote. We've had eagles fly in and swoop down at our decoys before, So obviously, it's always exciting to see those kind of things happen in front of you, but it's nothing like, holy crap, it's, once in a lifetime. You could say it was once in a lifetime, but it's more common, I guess, compared to seeing Bigfoot come by and grabbing one of your decoys or something, obviously, or a panther or some, a Florida panther coming up and grabbing one of ours if we're hunting up here.
Yeah. I know you mentioned about starting to save up, for some out-of-state hunts next year. Is the plan to start tackling the Grand Slam? I know I was looking through the Hunt Proof app, and they had your Grand Slam tracker in the Hunt Proof app, which I thought was really cool, which made me rekindle my want to go out and do that as well. Is that something kind of you're thinking about doing, or just kind of branching off to a couple surrounding states and kind of seeing where that takes you?
I guess for me, the Grand Slam would be in the midst of it all. It would be there, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something like me personally, I don't look at right now and think like that would be. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like people get like super offended by the whole turkey scheme of whether it's using decoys or reaping birds or whatever. So I don't want to say like it's not like what I'm thinking about Grand Slam wise, but I think the like chasing 49, like the 49 states that you can kill a bird in, I think that would be more up my alley, I guess. But I'm always open for more of the experience than anything, I guess. Like the terrain, the type of hunting like you're actually doing, running and gunning kind of style. Just learning off of that, like being a well-rounded turkey hunter, I guess. Learning from what those guys do down there.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking forward to more, or looking at more than anything, I guess.
Yeah, because I mean, I think we've talked about it before, but like hunting with like your buddies, like that have property down in Ohio, right? Like that's kind of more the mentality than going out by yourself or going out with like your dad or something, going out and chasing birds out west. Like you're looking more of just like the relationships you've built through the page or through hunting in itself and enjoying those guys and their own property.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of people nowadays, even in waterfowl, they get away from like the roots of it all. I guess they get away from like what actually matters at the end of the day. Because I mean, to be honest with you, the Grand Slam, yeah, that's awesome. Congrats for it all. But like, I'm more chasing the stories behind all of that. I'm chasing like the camaraderie of the people that you were with behind those hunts and stuff. I'm not looking at it more of a title per se or anything. I'm looking at it just the memories of it all. I want to get those and the scenery that you'll see out there where like I've seen birds gobbling on the top of these ridges, like these plateaus, and it's just pitching down at you, and it's just crazy to think. Yeah, so I'd be looking more forward to like those kind of instances more than I guess a title per se.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I look forward to. Like even going down to Ohio for that small stint, like it was, even though we found one shed in 2 days, like it was just the camaraderie and the memories you make through it, right? Like I'm not gonna go chase 49 states, or the Grand Slam by myself. Like I'm gonna take you, I'm gonna take someone else, and we're gonna make it a trip, and we're gonna make it awesome with just like the hunt itself, right? But also the beers at camp, the drive there, like the different things that happen along the way to make that experience awesome.
Bird or no bird, it's going to be a story that we'll tell at a later date.
Yeah.
And it's crazy though too that you shed hunt like 8 hours away in Ohio and you won't even come over here and shed hunt. That's crazy. I just thought about that. But anyway, yeah. That's what I'd be excited for turkey season.
It's like you said, like it's the different terrain and the relationships I was building. Like I don't get the.
Oh yeah, how many people you talk to down there, out in the middle of the woods like that?
Talked to a bunch of people, man. It was fun.
I didn't know West Michigan was the same terrain as Eastern Michigan, like East Michigan. But that's a different story though. That's fine. It's not a big deal. Does your backyard look like that property that I hunt next to?
What's that?
Does your property look like the property that I hunt over there?
It's pretty close, yeah.
Like big giant CRP fields and ponds and just little woodlots and stuff?
In some areas, yeah.
More. Well, no. I'm not saying in some areas. I'm saying like the ground that you're on.
One of the properties that I can hunt is woodlots and cornfields, yes.
Well, I didn't say any ag fields. I just said CRP.
Yeah. No CRP.
Okay. I was curious. That's all.
I mean, I guess you would say the one.
Well, you just kind of made a point.
The valley next to me is a decent sized CRP field, so I guess it's pretty close.
Well, you had to really bring back in the memory book there, memory bank. That we'll just leave it. It's all right. Don't worry about it, man.
I don't. You didn't invite me over, so.
Okay, that's fair. See, that's all you had to say. You had to make a bunch of excuses up for it.
No, I have no excuses, man.
I mean,
no excuses. You invite me over.
Do you have like for turkey season wise, like, do you have a river over there that is like one of the biggest? Well, I'll say the biggest walleye hatchery or spawn locations in America. I'll answer that for you. The answer is no. So
I'd love to come over and fish walleye with you, but I just need an invite to come over and fish.
Well, we'll figure it out this year. I was going to bring that up though too. That's a cool thing too. If there were people that were from out of state coming up and hunting, being able to give them an experience to walleye fish even after the hunts. I mean, walleye
from the other side of the state.
or from the other side of the state. Yeah, for sure. But the walleye are really starting to run right now. I don't want to say really starting to run, but people are starting to catch them pretty good. So to give somebody the experience of even just catching walleye, I mean, there's not a whole lot of states that are familiar with it, I guess. I mean, to be honest with you, even like Lake St. Clair, they fish completely different than, I don't want to say completely different, but it's different than in some aspects than what we do down here.
Yeah. I mean, and on the river, I mean, is insane, especially because they're just gonna start getting pretty slammed here pretty soon, right? With people coming from all over the country really to come fish where you're at.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to get real crazy for sure. Charters are starting to catch them really good right now. So, I mean, I know a lot of our buddies that have been going out daily catching limits. Brian and Robbie went out there yesterday and they caught their limit. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's going to start, really getting heated pretty quick. And
Is this earlier than usual? I mean, with all the rain we've been getting the last, 4 or 5 days with the warmer temperature, I mean, are you seeing it fishing differently earlier now, or fishing what usually is in a couple weeks or a month or whatever?
I mean, if you think about it, we're damn near mid-April. No, we're early April right now, aren't we?
Yeah, 5 days into April.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said that. That sounded bad. But I mean, we're into April. I know people are like they were catching them like upriver in March most of the time. It seems like the fish never really leave the river. I mean, there's more that come through, obviously, but there's always walleye in the Detroit River, and it's just a matter of when they're going to bite. There's a lot of things that have to all come together for a good bite going on that day. Whether it's the winds or the rain, like if the water gets pushed in and it gets real muddy water, you're probably not going to do the greatest. There's certain things where you kind of got to look at, I guess. Water temperatures is a big thing. So yeah, the rain's helping, but is the river muddy at that time where they're not going to bite as good? So it's, water levels are so low right now. So that makes it a little, I don't want to say tough. It's crazy how low it is.
Really, it's that low with all the rain we've gotten, or do you guys not get the rain that we got over here?
So for us, like the biggest thing is the winds. I mean, we can get all that rain. Like the fields are absolutely flooded. I had a picture from when we set the camera up compared to the next day, and it looked like the whole field was just a giant lake, just from all the rains. The winds are what really determine it for us over here, and they say that it's like a giant cycle. I don't know if it was every like 11 years or 6 years or 5 years, whatever it was, with water height. Like I pretty much it's like 6 foot down to my boat to get down into it. Like we put a ladder for Ellie to walk down into it instead of her jumping down all the way. Mm-hmm. And I think this year it was last year was like the low point, so it should start coming up. I think it's this year is the low point. So next year it should start coming up. But I mean, it's low. It's crazy how low the water is.
That's crazy. Just with how much rain we've gotten, it's still like that because of the wind. That's crazy.
I was talking to my dad about it not that long ago. It's like, where does all the water go? I mean, it's crazy. Like it's just gone. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It's all in my swamp out back. That's where it's at.
I've seen that. You'll be fishing for walleye out there pretty soon.
Well, I mean, if it stays, I might be excited about it because then I'll have a little area out back where I could shoot some woodies or do whatever back there.
That would be pretty cool.
It's just not doing good for all the clover I planted out there 3 days ago, and then I was like, oh, I'll plant some clover back there. We're supposed to get some rain. I tilled it all up and made it look nice. Got stuck once and had to have a tow truck come and pull me out because I buried myself. What's that?
A tow truck came back there?
He drove around the outside of the field and had a 200-foot cable on it and pulled me out of the swamp.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. Thankfully, it was my neighbor, so it didn't cost me a dime. But,
that's the next question. Holy smokes.
Well, because he owns a towing business, and he's got a bunch of like this Bobcat. He's got all this stuff, and I was like, I got sucked so bad, and I was like, fuck, I'm gonna keep seeing if I can get out. I was pushing my bucket down into the muck and trying to get out, and I couldn't get out, and I was getting pissed. And of course, I had Connor with me. He's like, oh, I'll just go out and till a little bit, with him because he likes being on the tractor and stuff. And first pass just sunk it right down.
No kidding.
And I'm like, son of a gun. And so I tried, wasn't going nowhere. And I'm glad I got it out because I was going to leave it there and wait because one of my buddies, Seth's bringing his Bobcat out to move a blind in next weekend. And I was like, I'll just just leave it there, screw it. Thankfully, I didn't do that. So I called my neighbor. I was like, hey, I know you got a Bobcat. I buried my tractor out back. I want to see if you can pull it out for me. He's like, yeah, no problem. I'll be over in a second. I wheel him back there, and he looks at it, and he goes, man, you got this thing fucking stuck. And I was like, yeah, I got her pretty stuck. He's like, I don't think my Bobcat will be able to pull it out because he doesn't have tracks, and he's got wheels.
Oh,
So I'm like, shit. And he's like, I can try to get my tow truck back here. And I was like, I can only make it back halfway with my truck. I'm like, I know you're not for sure not making it back here all the way with your tow truck. And he's like, okay. He's like, if we can get permission to drive around the outside, like I could drive around and come around, and I got a 200-foot winch or a 200-foot cable we can hook up to. I'm like, thankfully you said that because I got permission to be out there. So like, let's do that. So we drive around. Of course, there's 3 toms out in the field. Kick them out of the field. Get around and winches it on, puts the chain on it, pulls it right out, thankfully. And now there's 4 foot of water back there. So all my clover that I had spread out there, long story short, is all my clover is floated up to the top, and probably going to have a nice clover on the outside of my my swamp. That's probably what it's going to be.
Once the ducks get in there and start eating it all from the surface of the water.
And that's, I was talking to some guy, someone commented on the TikTok post I'd made, and it's with having this water out there and not having water in 3 years out there and having that much water, because we've had a lot of rain, I feel like, in the past, but having this much rain and how much water accumulated in there, like it's going to totally change up the way I'm going to have to hunt this property, and all these trees that I have ordered to plant in some of those areas that are flooded completely. Like now I have to be like, okay, now I have to come up with a game plan to figure out a new area to where I want to put the bedding at, because now the bedding can't go here because now it potentially could be flooded for a majority of the time of the year, and now these pines are going to be dead, or deer aren't going to want to bed in this. So
that's going to make it tough.
Which is making my brain just do circles in my head, because I'm like, okay, I have trees coming in 2 weeks, 150 trees coming in 2 weeks to plant. Now I have to figure out a backup plan. I might just have to get pots and plant them in pots and figure out where to go from there. But yeah, so it's cool, but also like, cause now it's, cause I wanted a pond back there for like a little watering hole and stuff. Now I got a big ass watering hole now. So
I think it was like 2 podcasts ago or whatever, before you kicked me off on being the host. It was like we talked about the pond situation. Maybe it was just me and you talking or whatever, but we talked about you doing the pond and stuff back there.
Yeah, and how I had to say, I started to dig it and said, screw it, I'm not going to do it, and filled it back in. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Kind of a conundrum, but we'll see.
I will say though, I don't know really how much ground, like water-wise, like you have around you, as in like creeks or whatever. But it seems like all the properties, like when I'm out, like let's say when I'm even e-scouting for turkeys, like just on the internet, going through properties, seeing, if I hear them roosting somewhere and I'm looking at it, that whatever it may be, there's always water near them. They're on a creek bank or whatever it may be. That could work in your advantage, I guess, too, with having that water out there.
Well, we'll see, because we were actually going to show a video of the property and kind of give you a laydown of it. But it's going to have to totally change up the way I'm going to turkey out my property this year. Like, because I had thought with this fresh clover in there, just going to put up a blind, maybe get the wife out to maybe kill her first turkey and have it in an easy spot. Now it's going to have to totally change up the way I'm going to try to tackle shooting a bird this year out back, for sure.
What has been like your prep lately for like bird hunting wise? Like, I know we talked about it before, where you kind of, up north, you kind of always know where the birds are, or you're seeing them, just like we talked about kind of with the farmer situation. What has been your kind of prep, I guess, for it all?
I mean, right now it's been mostly driving fields in the morning, kind of seeing where those birds are at out in the fields, and relying mostly on trail cameras, because like I've mentioned, I feel like 20 times on this podcast, my birds disappear. Like late summer, they'll disappear. They won't show up until around this time frame. So actually starting to get some pictures of turkeys now. Unfortunately, majority of them are hens. I think the one picture, I had 15 hens in a picture, and then it was 15 hens, like 3 pictures, hens, and then 1 tom in the picture by itself. I'm like, okay, this is going to be fun.
So with that though, like, does that change your like perspective on like the fall turkey hunt? Like you would shoot, like if you, obviously like that's not all the birds on your property, but like if you're seeing that many hens in the one tom and you realize like, man, it's going to be super tough until maybe like later in the year when all the hens are bred. Does it change like your mindset? Like if I were to pull a fall tag and be able to go out there and shoot one, should I shoot a hen now since there's so many of them out here and make it a little bit easier in the springtime? Like, does that change your kind of mood?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been kind of on the boat of in fall, like shooting a hen. I think is I've always been like, if a bird comes in, it's a hen, I'm going to shoot it, just because that's the way. There was no knowledge behind it, no historical data, nothing like that. But now,
Right.
definitely with seeing how many birds are on just this small piece of property, and there's that many hens, and only, I mean, I've seen 3 toms in total and 15 hens. Like, I don't know how many. You might know this. I don't know how many toms. Like, I don't know how many hens they'll breed in a year. Like, I know how like a buck will breed multiple does, but
Yeah, I don't
a
think there's
tom breed.
number for it, to be honest with you. That I have ever heard of. Because I mean, if you think about it, they're always running around. I've had hunts before where there's same thing. Like there's 10 different hens with that one tom, and he's out there just breeding away. He's just out there for whatever hot hen is around. So
But
yeah,
then it gets back to the point of, can that property maintain having that many birds on its property, whether it be toms or hens, right? So then it gets back to that part of it, like your buck to doe ratio, and making sure that's equilibrium. Like, now figuring out what the right equilibrium is for a tom to a hen, and if that property can maintain it. And then for a farmer's standpoint, right, like that has crops out there, I know for some people in some properties, turkeys are very, very destructive animals to a farm. So, like, what's that going to lead to? Like, is there going to be crop damage permits for turkeys? In some areas, but like, you can go a few houses down and there's not going to be any birds there. So it's just figuring out what's the best for everyone, because you can't do it based on
right.
one property.
Well, and I think that's so. Two things, in my opinion, to answer that. One, that's why I think the E-tag, or not the E-tag, but like the report this year, like us reporting birds back, I think that'll help a lot in those instances. But then it's also makes it a little bit difficult to, maybe a lot of those property owners around there don't let hunting or let hunters out there. So it makes that difficult as well. But the hardest part, like deer hunting wise, you want the does because it's going to bring the bucks in, right? But like you would think that about turkey hunting, that it would bring the toms in, but that's the way that we hunt turkeys, not how the whole thing goes with turkey hunting. Like it's the hens going to the toms and not the other way around. Like I said, like how we hunt them. So it makes it a little difficult. Obviously, I mean, the toms are probably going to be roosting next to the hens, but at the same time, like those hens are going towards that gobble. Like that gobble's telling those birds to go to him, not the other way around.
I mean, shit, I might get killed out there if I'm out there trying to call in a tom and I got 15 hens coming in pissed off at me. I might be in trouble.
I would say you're probably in trouble just regardless if there's birds coming your way or not. But I mean, yeah, that's the hardest part about like the whole turkey situation, though, man. It's what do you do? I mean, and how do I keep improving the ground that I hunt on without hurting it? I guess that one hen, I mean, it could be laying a lot of eggs that one year. I think in reality it goes back to habitat and predators. To be honest with you, I think those are the two biggest things out there for turkey numbers per se.
But wouldn't that contradict of what everyone's been saying with the coyote season? Say, like on my property, I've seen 17 turkeys, just for a ballpark number. That's probably not a great number to have on one piece of property with the 3 to 14 ratio. Wouldn't we want to have coyotes to potentially thin that out, raccoons, that kind of stuff, to help thin that out to make it more?
I mean, it depends. I guess like for me personally, like it's kind of like a low number. I would almost say like that's not like for me. It's weird. Like when I get to a certain point heading back towards the house, like the turkeys just stop. Why aren't the turkeys over here? Well, the habitat, right? So the habitat's not right. So that's probably why they're not going that far. So like that's the one thing. But then the predators, the coyote season wasn't shut down because of the turkey population. Like it's hard to use that as an excuse towards that. You know what I mean? The coyote thing was shut down for other reasons. And it's not just the coyotes that are hurting the turkey population. I mean, once turkeys get to a certain age, obviously, what is it, like 2 weeks and they can fly to a certain point? I mean, it's more of like the nesting habitats that or like the nest itself, the coons and the skunks or whatever else is what's hurting the turkey population more, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I just you heard those complaints, right, from the hunters out there, right? Like, we shut down the season, now we're not seeing nearly as many birds as we once saw, you know.
Well, I think that's
Which, I mean, it's been 2 years since that's been opened back up, but which can totally regenerate a population in 2 years.
I mean, that's hard to say though too, because I mean, there's when me and John went out yesterday and was moving that camera around, like 2 years ago, we didn't shoot a bird on that piece that we were talking. And then so last year, I thought to myself, there's probably going to be a lot of birds over here this year. I mean, there's usually a good amount, so there's definitely going to be a lot this year. Well, I think we've seen a total of like 3 times, and we ended up shooting, or 4 times. We shot 1, and then we only seen 2 for the rest of the year, and that was that, right? And I don't think people realize how much turkeys actually move. Like after the last hunt we hunted over there last year, those turkeys moved down the road like 2 miles. And the only reason why I knew that was because one of the fans were all jacked up on it. So you could like, it was pretty distinct, like how you could tell it was that same bird. So I don't know. It's just, I don't know. People use a lot of different things for excuses, like the coyotes and stuff. Just because you don't see the same amount of turkeys doesn't mean it's just the coyotes. There's no proof of that. There's no research behind that saying that it was just the coyotes. And since we shut it down for this 1 year, now you don't see any turkeys. I mean, you got to think of so many different scenarios other than coyotes as well that play a factor into all that stuff. I mean, other hunters around the area. I mean, let's say you get a piece of property that you could hunt on and there's 10 times out there. Well, if you go out there and shoot 7 of them that 1 year, I mean, that's just throwing numbers out there. That's pretty hard to do, obviously. Let's say there's 3 times out there, you shoot 2 of them. It's going to take a little bit for the population to be at where you're happy with it. And nobody's happy with really anything, to be honest with you. I mean, you see a tom out there every day, somebody's going to find something to complain about it, you know? So I don't know. Nobody could really use the coyote situation as a excuse, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, and that just goes back to the reporting, right? Like, it's going to be really cool to see if everyone does the reporting. I hope there's a way that they can enforce it to where everyone has to do it. But it's really cool to see those numbers, and hopefully on there's like how many birds you saw, like that kind of stuff, to be able to get some more concrete numbers on birds that are in these certain counties, right? Because someone that's hunting down the street might have 50 birds on his property, but I don't hunt that property, so I don't talk to that person, so I don't know what's going on over there. And same with you, so it'll be kind of cool to see those numbers come out, and hopefully come up with some more stuff to help with turkey hunting, or shut down the 2-bird thing that people want to get, or if they want to open up another fall turkey season in some other areas that don't have a fall turkey season, it'd be kind of cool to see.
I mean, there's so many just different options out there that, and it's hard too, because I feel like a lot of people get so like, I don't know, they just want. They don't realize like I was just saying, like you kill those 2 times and leave the 1, like that's going to do some damage on the property. Like for me, like with the whole scouting situation, not only do I look for like what I see out there, like in Jake numbers, and that's kind of a way to how I hunt it, but I kind of try to figure out a way where I can kind of get a range of how many times I'm seeing that a property and how many birds I can actually get away with on killing on there and still have a productive year the following year as well. Like there's been times where we shot, a certain amount of birds on pieces and I completely shut down all the hunting over there. Not saying the neighbor's not hunting either, but for me, at least I know that I'm not taking more than I need to, or I should be, to make the following years good as well.
And that's gonna be something really cool with the Hunt Proof app, right? Like we'll be able to actually put documents on our phone, be like, okay, I saw this many birds on this hunt here, and then I can go. We have this app for a couple of years now, and be like, okay, back in 2026, we had 4 jakes and this many hens and stuff, and be able to see from year to year how that progresses, and we kind of, it's cool to get that intel and have our own.
One thing that's super cool with that app too is Nate and those guys over there are always finding ways to make that app better. and to come up with things where people can put more data into it. Maybe in the future they put something in there where, you're putting in predator hunting on your turkey properties, and I got rid of this amount of predators this past year, and now I'm seeing this amount of turkeys this year. Like, just they're always improving on that app. So it's I don't know. A lot of people overlook that app and apps like that for their own success, I guess. I mean, that's what it all comes down to, is their success at the end of the day for the information. The information is obviously there for, like I said, for your success.
Yeah, and you can almost treat it too like almost like a social media in a sense, because you can connect with friends on there and be able to see kind of what they're seeing as well. So it's kind of a cool aspect.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited about doing a little bit of fishing, some handline, and some turkey hunting. Obviously, turkey hunting is number one for me, but my dad got his boat in the water the other day, 2 days ago maybe. But I don't know. It's right around the corner on the real fun time of the year for us, and getting after some things.
I mean, I look forward to my invite. Your invite's always open to come over here.
Well, here's the problem. If I say open invite, you're still going to use the excuse, well, you didn't invite me, you didn't tell me the dates or something. You're going to throw some excuse out there. So I'll say it now on here so we can go back to it. From April 18th to the end of May, you come over any day to turkey hunt and walleye fish. And you can even go into June and July to come over and walleye fish as well. So any day you're able to and want to come over and help with some content, since I don't have a guy like Ben over here, it would much be appreciated. I would appreciate it greatly.
Okay, so let me say this. All right, I'll add
Here
to that.
we go. Here we go.
I'll add to that. So once Ben, my Make-A-Wish Foundation, kills his bird, I'll come over.
God, that's another 4 years, dude.
No, if you listen, this is the year. I feel it in my bones. This is the year it's going to happen for him. I mean, we're going to get it all on film, and it's going to be awesome.
What's going to happen?
We're probably going to cry.
What's going to happen for him?
He's gonna
Get
do the deed.
off?
He's gonna do the deed.
Okay. All right. I'll say this. Let's say I'll give you guys 2 weeks to get it done. And if you don't get it done in those 2 weeks,
You coming over?
no, I'm not coming over. You guys are coming over here, and we're getting it done over here.
What about going to different terrains? Because I'm such a different terrain over here, and with buddies and friends and making memories in different areas. Remember you said that?
Yeah, for me hunting.
Yeah, you can come hunt too.
But I kind of have a game plan for my bird already.
Oh, okay. So you just want an easy bird, is what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying easy bird. Where was I hunting at? Where was my plan at?
You
Yeah,
said you already have a plan, so.
Yeah, I know. You don't know where I was planning on hunting.
But you do.
That's my point exactly. Maybe I already
Switch
planned
it
on
up. Make things.
Maybe I was already planning on coming over without even an invite to kill a bird over there. Who knows?
That's true. Maybe that's your plan.
Just sneak over there one morning and all of a sudden you hear a gunshot out back. I don't know. I'm just giving you guys 2 weeks, and either I come over there or you come over here. We'll get it done.
All right. We'll put pen to paper. That'll be the plan.
Okay. I don't care if we got to put one of those things where he aims the gun and I got to pull the trigger from like a little button or whatever.
We'll have you sit behind him, and you'll like hold the gun for him.
Yeah, he pulls.
Make sure it doesn't kick back.
I'll hold the gun. All he's got to do is just press the trigger back. That'll be fine too.
Yeah,
or I'll
make
bring
some great content.
Yeah, it'll be like me trying to teach him how to putt, like standing behind him.
Before we get off today, I just wanted to mention again some of our awesome sponsors that gave us some cool promo codes. So I want you guys to utilize them. You're our listeners. There's some awesome promo codes out there. Pattern Pros, use Great Lakes 10 for 10% off. Hunt Proof, use Great HP 25 for 25% off. Cooler Guard Spray, use GLO for 20% off. And then Hodag Outdoors, use Great Lakes, all lowercase, for 15% off. So some awesome deals there. We use all their products. Cooler Guard for live wells. Pattern Pros, we'll be using that probably this year for some of the new products they have coming out for sighting in our bows, learning out some new things for rifles, all that fun stuff. And then Hodag, use that for all of our deer, for some deer killing there.
And I will say, even like for the cooler guard, there's an ambush for the scent eliminator as well for deer season, and even the hodag stuff. I mean, those deer are still hitting those ropes and checking them, and it's not just a thing where you only use it during deer season. I mean, there's always information where you can learn off your properties where you hunt, and hodag has those tools where you can put out there and get those deer still used to consistently coming to areas on your property. It's not just a seasonal thing for some of those companies. I mean, even Hunt Proof, dog training, turkey hunting, waterfowl hunting. I mean, there's so many different options. It's not just basically a seasonal thing for any of those companies.
And it's not too late to get your new turkey call this year as well. Head over to GK, head over to their social medias with direct links to their website. Go get yourself a new diaphragm call, box call. I know they just came out with a new call. I'm blanking on the name of it, but
they came out with like the push
push thing. Yeah. Yes, I can't think of what it's called, but it's super easy for those that are getting into turkey hunting that don't know how to use a slate call, don't know how to use a diaphragm call, don't know how to use a box call. Super duper easy, and you'll kill birds with it.
And then we just dropped a new box call too with different wood types. Purple Heart on the top. We just dropped those out as well. So I'm excited with their turkey calls this year. I really am. And just the growth even for the future. The first year with them, obviously it's just going to keep growing. And finally, Glenn has listened to me and Paul.
I know I gave my dad his diaphragm calls this weekend, and he tried them out, and he's like, these things are badass. So he's definitely already fell in love with them. So
we'll get him out on Glenn here pretty soon and talk about these turkey calls and even waterfall calls some more. We had him on once, but have him on again and chit chat with him a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. All right. Well, thank you all for listening to another episode of the Great Lakes Outdoors Podcast. Catch us this week with some drops, some fun stuff. Got merch, all that fun stuff coming out. Stay following. Talk to you guys later.
That was good though, dude. That was like what a true host would.